Hello everybody and welcome. This video we're going to start covering the basics of animation. And no better place to start with animation than the basic bouncing ball animation that I'm sure everyone has had to do at some point or will end up having to do at some point for other courses. So let's get right into it. Let's go ahead and create a game object. Let's create a sphere for the bouncing ball. There it is. We're going to put it right near our camera just so we have a nice just so we can see it as soon as we start any scene in the future. I think that's a good spot for it. All right. Next thing that we're going to do is actually set up animation for this thing, and the way that we do that is by adding a component. We go down to miscellaneous, and then we just select animation, and there we are. Here's the animation field. Right now, if I were to start playing the scene, nothing is going to happen, of course, because there are no animations attached to the animation clip here. So, as of now, there is no animation associated with the sphere, so the sphere is not going to do anything except be solid. We have a little box here to play automatically as soon as the scene starts. We can animate physics if we want to. The culling type, we're not really going to mess with here. And really, when it comes to animations, Unity is very good at creating repeatable, infinitely looping animations for moving platforms or bouncing balls in this case, and things like that. If you want to customize if you want to better customize your animations, that I would recommend working in other programs that are more suited to it, like Maya or Blender or something like that. But Unity is capable of creating basic animations, and we're going to be doing that in this video. So let's go ahead and set up where we can actually work on our animations, because right now, in the inspector, we have no place to naturally work on our animations. We can't work on it in the scene panel or the hierarchy panel or the project panel. Unity does not naturally present you a way to work on your animations, but there is a way to work on it. We just have to find that and open it up. So going up to Window, we go down to Animation, and then we select Animation again. And now we have this animation panel here that's on its own, but we can go ahead and dock it. And I would recommend docking it down here with the project panel, because it just makes the most sense down here. It's nice. You got some good space here to work with. All right. So we have our animation panel now docked down to where our project panel is. We have our sphere selected, and as you can see, as soon as we select any object, we can see to begin animating the sphere, or if we select something else like what, like this, to begin animating Nature's Fir Tree Variant 1, we can start creating, or to begin animating the props roof antenna, or even to animate a Chevolo guy here. Anything that we can select, we can animate within Unity, but for the purposes of this demo, we're just going to animate this basic little sphere. So let's go ahead and click Create. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to cancel. We need to create a special location to save our animations to. Before you get to start actually working on any animations, Unity will ask you to save the animation file before you start working on it. So for that reason, we're going to create this folder here called My Animations. Now we're going to go back to Animation, Create, and this time we will be able to save into My Animations. This needs a name, so I'm just going to call this Bouncing, because this is going to be the sphere bouncing up and down. So there we go. Now we can actually start properly animating at this point. So, how does this all actually work? Well, we have two basic little two basic little things we can look at here. We have the timeline, and we have the properties panel. We can also change this dope sheet here with our timeline to curves, but we'll look at curves a little bit later in the video. For now, let's go ahead and start working on the sphere. Okay, so to start working, you'll notice that we can't actually do anything right now with the dope sheet. We have to add a property first, so let's do that. We're going to be working strictly, it's a bouncing ball, so we're strictly working with the positioning So we're just going to go ahead and go to position, click this little plus button next to it, and now we have keyframes that we can start working with. So you'll notice anytime we select something to work with, in this case the positioning of the sphere, we have two keyframes that are automatically given to us. One at the very beginning at frame 0, and one at the 1 second mark. In this case, this is animating at 60 frames a second, so at the 1 second mark, or at frame 60, as you can see up here, we're working with 60 frames per second. We have a ending. We have an ending. We have a second keyframe here. So, for the bouncing ball, very simply, we're just going to go to 30 seconds here. We're going to, let's see. Perspective view is probably the best way to work with this. And now we are just going to actually move it down to create a new keyframe. Actually, before we do that, we have to press the record button here. Nothing is going to animate. No keyframes will be created unless you press the record button. So we press the record button. We can see that this went from blue to red. We press it again, it goes back to blue. Let's go ahead and actually start recording. And at 30 seconds, we are just going to, or 30 frames, I should say, we're just going to bring the ball to the ground as close as possible. Right around there makes sense. A little bit in. That's fine. All right. Yeah. So now we can go ahead and just click the recording button again to make it blue. We can see if we start playing the animation here that it's doing the bounce. We start at frame 0 at the top, and then it goes down, and then it goes back up. So let's play the scene and actually see the animation in action. And no, nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening? Well, the reason for that is because we didn't apply the animation to the sphere's inspector. So let's go ahead and go back to our project panel. Let's go ahead and open up My Animations. Let's go ahead and select the sphere. Let's lock it in. And this bouncing animation, I'm going to go ahead and attach to the animation clip here for the sphere's animation component that we put up. And now, if we start playing the scene, the sphere should be bouncing up and down. Yes, there it is. But only once. Why did it only do it once? That's disappointing. Well, to fix that, all we have to do is unlock the inspector for the sphere. Select the bouncing animation. You will notice there are not many options here in the inspector for the bouncing animation. We do have this wrap mode, though. And for wrap mode, we want to make sure we choose loop. Also, very fun to know that you can view a preview for an animation as long as you drag some sort of model into the preview area. So let's go ahead and actually drag the sphere in here and see what happens. And play. It's difficult to actually see because there's no ground here to give reference, but the sphere is actually bouncing up and down at this point. We can't actually see it though, unfortunately, since there is no ground to look at. Well, anyway, regardless, we changed the wrap mode to loop, so let's go ahead and play the scene again, because now the ball should just bounce up and down naturally, forever. Yep, there it is, there it goes. Bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down, very nice. That said, the animation is pretty rough. We didn't really do much with it except add that one keyframe at frame 30. So let's get out of this. Let's get out of this play mode and go back to our animation here. Like I said, it's a rough animation. So similar to programs like Maya, you can go ahead and refine the animation a little bit more by working with its curves. And do I need to select the sphere to actually see? Yes, I do. I need to select the sphere to actually see its curves. Very nice. All right, so let's discuss curves a little bit. In order to start properly working with our curves, we have to be able to see our curves. Now, within the curves view, we can go ahead and hold Alt and the middle mouse button to pan around our timeline here, and be able to go to different points in the curve that are further in. We hold Alt and the right mouse button, we can zoom in and out, but we zoom in and out from both we zoom in and out both in the X and the Y. We don't want to do that. Rather, instead, we would rather just zoom in from the Y. So we can use this line right here to just zoom in properly and get a better view of our curve. The curve we're specifically working with, by the way, is going to be the green one here. So let's go ahead and zoom in properly to it and see what we can see. And that's a pretty good view of the curve right there. That starts giving us some real information to work with here. I believe Shift Alt and then right mouse button will let us also control the Y here to better see what there is to see. Let's go ahead. I think that's a good enough view for what we're doing. So what's happening with the animation right now is we have this slow in and slow out right here in the middle, which is causing a sort of unnaturalness with the sphere's bounce animation. So in order to fix that, we can just click this middle point here, similar to what you would do in Maya. We can right click, we can select broken here in order to control both the in order to be able to properly move the curve in order to be able to properly move the curve on either side. And we're going to try to create more of a V shape as opposed to that original U to eliminate that slow in, slow out. So that way, I believe if we play a preview, we get a much better bounce for the ball than what we had before. Whereas before we had this, and fixing it by playing around with the slow in and slow out at the 30 frame mark gives us a much more natural animation. So we can play the scene, and exactly as what we saw in the preview, the curve, playing around with the curve should have helped us give us a better ball bounce, which it did. Very nice, nice infinite little ball bounce there. Selecting the sphere again, we can do other stuff with this. We can select this middle point and drag it lower and lower and lower, and I believe that's actually going to affect just how low the ball goes, as you can see. We can move it up so that the sphere actually goes up instead of bouncing down if we want to. Just weird little quirks you can play with in regards to the curves, but very, very simple to head into the curves and actually play around with their with the settings in order to create more natural animations. Last thing I want to mention with the curves are the axes that we're playing with. Up and down, obviously, this is the y-axis that we can manipulate here, the x-axis, and the time axis up here, being able to see which frame we're on. We're working with time, x, and y whenever we work with that within the within the curve sheet here for our animation panel. The next thing I want to show is what happens if we try to apply this bounce to other objects. So let's go ahead and create something else. Let's go ahead and create, let's just make a cube. I'm going to put the cube over here. I'm not going to create an animation. Rather, I'm just going to add the component miscellaneous animation, and I'm just going to apply the same bouncing clip to the cube as I did with the sphere. If I play the scene, what's going to happen? You will see that the cube has moved to the same location of the sphere. The sphere is still there; it's inside the cube right now. The issue is that whenever you're making animations within Unity, you're using the position and you're using position location for the animation as we did with the sphere. What happens is that if you try to apply this animation to anything else, it's going to just be restricted to animating in that same location because we use that position information. So Unity animation is powerful, it's useful for certain basic purposes, but ultimately if you want like custom animations for characters and stuff, you're better off animating them in other programs like like a Maya or a Blender before bringing those animations into Unity, which we will be covering in a later video. But for now, we're working with animations exclusively that we make in Unity. So we have this cube that's overlaid with the sphere. It's now bouncing in the same place as the sphere. The sphere is still there. It's just we can't see it because the cube is bigger. All right. Let's actually go ahead and make something else, shall we? So we have this cube, we have the sphere. Let's make... what do I want to do? Actually, you know what? I don't even need the sphere or the cube anymore. We can just delete them. All right. Let's go ahead and make... Let's make another cube here. And let's make something a little bit more deliberate. Let's make a platform. So let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. That's a good size for a Chevolo guy, I think. Yeah. Platform can start right here in front of Chevolo guy. All right. And I'm going to make sure I would call it actually, I'm going to call it moving platform. Platform. There we go. All right. And this time, instead of going here to my add component and going to miscellaneous and adding an animation, I am just going to immediately from the animation panel say to begin animating moving platform, creating animator and animation clip. I'm just going to create that right now. I'm going to call this I don't know. I'm just going to call it moving platform again. Moving platform. There we go. And we will see that we will see now in the inspector for the moving platform, instead of having that animation component that we had to track down in the miscellaneous here, we were automatically given an animator component, which works very, very similarly to animation. There's a few little differences here and there. We'll cover that in other videos, but this works very, very similarly to animation. All right. Let's go ahead and go to properties. And we're going to work with position again because it's a moving platform, so we're not going to do anything that crazy with it. And at the 30 frame mark, we're going to have the platform, and we're going to make sure we're recording when we do that. We're going to have the platform move up to around here. Why not? That's fine. And we can play the preview here. Yeah, that's okay, I guess, for the purposes of a quick little demonstration. If we play the animation, it should work. We don't have to actually drag anything into the animator component as we did with the animation component, because when the animator component is created, we automatically get the moving platform animation attached to the to our animator component. So that's good. Kind of rough, but let's go ahead and do some more with this platform animation, because it doesn't make sense that it just goes up and down really, really fast for every 1 second. All right, let's select the platform. Let's zoom out our dope sheet here, our timeline here. And now we can select all of our keyframes, the one at the beginning, the one at the end, and the one in the middle that we made. And let's actually push this so that we can start a little bit later at 1 second, instead of just starting, immediately at 0, just going up and down really, really fast. Let's give it a second to warm up. Actually, let's go ahead and make it 2. No, you know what? Yeah, 2 seconds to warm up is fine. All right, and at frame 0, we should add a keyframe. So, by the way, if you're not deliberately animating anything, but you need to add a keyframe somewhere, you can just right-click at at whichever second you want to animate at, or whichever frame you want to animate at. Just right-click, add key. We can add a key there to ensure there's no movement at all from the platform until 2 seconds when it goes up, and then back down. Wonderful. Let's see. Let's zoom out some more, because waiting 2 seconds and then very quickly going up and down for 1 second is not that compelling of an animation, I would think. So let's see. Yeah, that's fine. It's a decent little tour of the area there. A decent little tour of the area, then the platform will go back. We don't need to, for demonstration purposes, we're going to keep this animation simple. We're not going to have it, naturally loop back around or anything. We could, but we're not going to do that. And good, okay. So let's go ahead and test this out, shall we? Let me stop recording. Let me stop the preview. And let me actually play. So, second to jump on. There we go. Now, something... Oh, that's a problem. Look at that. Chivolo guy just slid off right there. That's not great. So, that's actually going to be the subject of our next video. If you're making a script for an animation like a moving platform and you want the character to be able to stand on the moving platform, if you're making an animation like that and with the intent of having a character stand on the platform, then you're going to have to create a script for that. Basically, the script is going to entail that Chivolo guy here becomes the child of the moving platform, and we can just test to make sure that that's actually the solution to this problem by, really quick, I'm going to save. I'm going to put Chivolo guy on the platform here, right around there. I am going to make Chivolo guy the child of the moving platform here, and I'm going to play the scene. This time, he shouldn't just slide off. Ideally, he shouldn't just slide off. Let's see. We go up, kind of rough animation, but it's okay for demo purposes. Yep, as you can see, making Chivolo guy the child of the platform is the solution here, but we need to make sure the Chivolo guy is only the child for the amount of time that he's actually on the platform. Otherwise, weird things are potentially going to happen. In this case, they're not, which is very fun to see. But we need to ensure that we can get Chivolo guy off the platform, because if we don't, then that's going to happen. The game just breaks. He moves inadvertently with the platform, even though I don't want him to anymore. And then when the animation is done, he is just going to, it's just going to break. So it's moving up right now. Now it's moving forward, but I don't want to move forward, but it's forcing me to move forward. And as soon as the animation is actually done, I should just fall through and just lose everything. Yeah, there we go. So we need to fix that, and we're going to fix that in the next video with a simple script. So I'm going to undo making Chivolo guy the child. I'm going to put Chivolo guy back here for now. And in the next video, we are going to work with a script to ensure that we can properly stand on this moving platform. One of the things you need to know regarding animations in Unity is that in order to properly, in order to properly integrate them with whatever experience or game you're making, scripting is going to be required in many cases here. You can't just animate without doing at least a little bit of scripting here and there, especially if you intend for characters to be able to interact with animations, and then scripting is going to become necessary. So in the next video, we'll do a little bit of scripting to fix up this moving platform animation here, and that'll be that. Thank you very much for watching this brief introduction to animation within Unity. Hope you got something out of it. Thank you very much.